Hey, what is up? We are back again today, and this time we have a new keyboard. This is the Weikav Nut65. This is a bare bones unit, and when I say bare bones, I mean it is actually kind of like pre-assembled bare bones. Now, I've already taken a peek at it, kind of. That's why I can tell you it is kind of like a pre-built bare bones instead of a bare bones. First of all, I want to highlight to you the quality of the box. The packaging is not there. I'm not going to say this box is terrible, but it's not really a very high quality box. You can see it's smashed all over the place while it was being shipped, and this is just not really a good box to transport this keyboard around the world via UPS or whatever delivery service. You can see the accessory part of the box has already been smashed. Of course, you have your extra cables and switches and keycap puller in here, which isn't very important, but you know what I mean. You still want a box that is going to be able to protect the keyboard. However, let's pull out the keyboard, and when I say this is a bare bones unit, usually a bare bones unit comes disassembled, and you have to assemble everything yourself. But as you can see from here, it is already kind of pre-assembled. Everything is intact, everything is there. All you really need to do is just add switches and keycaps. So essentially this is kind of like a bare bones slash pre-built unit. So I can talk about it a little bit for you guys. One thing interesting about this keyboard is there's a couple of nice neat features in here, which is an RGB strip right out in the front. This is also a full RGB keyboard, and it is full RGB all around. It is a pretty cool looking keyboard, and this keyboard also has rapid disassembly, which means I haven't tried this yet, but it should work. Yep, it does work. Just like that, you pull out the top, and I can tell you that the rapid disassembly mechanism seems to work pretty good. That was very easy to do, and I think you can just lift it out and everything comes apart. In fact, there is no wires connecting the keyboard and the daughter board battery at the bottom. So at the bottom there's going to be two batteries here. I think this is a split battery configuration, but one battery is 4000 milliamps, which is kind of large, and the other battery is a smaller 2000 milliamp battery, giving you a total of 6000 milliamps. That's the magnetic part that connects to your daughter board and the battery module. You can see that there are 4 switches already pre-installed. I don't know why. They might as well have thrown in the switches and keycaps, but they didn't. So you have to assemble this yourself, which is literally just the switches and keycaps. That's about it, and you're good to go. So it's basically, it works again because this is connected magnetic connection to the electricity or the battery power and the daughter board. And this is also a gasket mount, so you just slot everything in there, stick it in there, it connects by itself. This is pretty cool. And there's the RGB strip down here, which is diffused with this thing down here. If you cover it up, basically, is this correct? Yeah, it is correct. That's what it looks like with the RGB strip. It is very subtle. It is actually very cool looking. This is a heavy keyboard. I'm gonna wait for you guys, and we can talk about the specs of this keyboard. Like I said, this is 1,123 grams, so 1.2 kilos. Pretty heavy keyboard for a 65%. This is pretty cool looking keyboard. You can see there are some flex cuts on the PCB. There is also flex cuts on the plate itself. The thickness of the plates are about 1.2, 1.3 millimeters. I think there's an option for a 1.6 millimeter, but I'm not sure about that. Yeah, what I'm going to do is actually try to hook up some switches, and I have just the right switches for this. This is an $89 keyboard. I've got some really inexpensive Arco switches that have a clacky sound in nature, and I'm gonna install them and then put on some black and yellow keycaps perhaps, and we'll have a look and see what it sounds like. I don't know why this won't go through. Do I need to punch? Why can't I install them properly? Okay, is that installed? Looks like it is. We'll find out soon. But anyway, let's install these switches and keycaps, and then we'll have a look at it, and we'll talk about the other things that's interesting about this keyboard. Let's go. Here we go with the magic of the internet, and we are back. And this is the final product. I decided to match it up with really cheap switches and really cheap keycaps, but they look absolutely fantastic. Check it out. This is kind of like the new look that a lot of people are going for. This is, I mentioned earlier, a tri-mode, which means it's got Bluetooth connection. It's also got 2.4 Hertz somewhere here, but as you can see, there are no switches anywhere. There's no compartment for the dongle. I couldn't find the dongle anywhere. Is this? Okay, so that's where the dongle is. So how do you get it out? Oh, it's just held there magnetically. So there's the 2.4 Hertz dongle held in place magnetically. Just drop it in there and it will stick there. Very good. Oh, it can go in that way as well. But yeah, it's pretty cool looking, nice design. $89 for this bare bones kit. Again, they say it's bare bones, but as you saw, it was already pre-built. You didn't really need to do anything. If you did want to do something, it is ultra easy, because that just comes off like that, and you just lift up the PCB and the entire piece comes off that way. Super easy to build. There is some extra pieces in the box which I forgot to mention, so let me just go get the box. I did mention that the box is pretty dismal because it crushed the accessories box inside the box. Anyway, inside there should be some nubs that give you the extra gasket mounting. So that's the cable for the wired connection. It is very poor quality cable, if I'm being honest with you. It is plastic, it's not very nice. That's the keycap puller, very standard. But these are the nubs that are kind of like for you to extra gasket mount this keyboard if you wanted to. And let's just do that quickly. So what you would need to do is actually just take those nubs and you place them in these slots over here, and it's very easy to do. So they call this a bare bones kit. and make it sound something like a custom keyboard experience, but this is really a very newbie friendly keyboard build. Basically, if you buy the barebones kit, it's already pre-assembled. You just need to add your switches of your choice and keycaps of your choice, which you would probably already do even if you bought like a Neo 65 or something like that that is already fully built out. You're going to change out the switches and keycaps anyway. So to do that, for this keyboard to come without switches and keycaps, it's actually a pretty good idea. I actually support it because I probably change out the keycaps and switches anyway on whatever board I buy. So with those extra nubs, you could remove the socks, these white socks here, which is also a gasket mount. You could remove that if you wanted to and have a different kind of typing experience. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is gasket mounted, and it is what do you call that? Flex cut plates and flex cut PCBs, which means the PCBs itself, as you can see, there are cutouts already inside it, and the top plate, the flex cut plate, is also has cuts in them. This plate also has cuts in them, which makes them already pretty bouncy as a stock configuration. So with the extra nubs you put on, it makes it less bouncier, and I think that's what I want to go for, and just put the top plate back and we are done. So very quick customization. Looks like the RGB is reactionary. So when you press or make a sound, test. It doesn't pick up my voice, but it picks up the key strikes. Oh, it is picking up sound, but it's not picking up my voice. It's picking up the tapping on the... Very interesting. It's reacting. There's a microphone somewhere there that is reacting to me tapping the sound. But anyway, let me give you a sound test and we'll end this video. So there you go, that is the Nut65. The sound profile is actually pretty nice, don't you think so? This is kind of like a very in between flaky and creamy. It's definitely not a Thok sound profile. It is more of a clacky, creamy sound. It is a very premium sounding keyboard. Of course, because of all that foam and pour-on and flex cut plates. Even with that flex cut plates and all that double gasket mounting, the nubs and the socks, it's still pretty bouncy, very comfortable, very nice sound profile. What can I say? For $89, the switches are like I don't know, $15. These are the cheapest Arco switches that you can get, and then these keycaps are maybe $17. Super cheap, custom built with actually more than custom RGB lights on the side, and it is a very subtle lighting, very subtle RGB lighting. It is not at all gamery looking. You can dim down the lights. I'm assuming, let me try and dim down the lights. Is it function arrow down? Pretty cool looking keyboard for an extremely competitive price with all the features, tri-mode compatibility, hidden dongle, plate mounted stabilizers, gasket mount with the socks and the nubs, full RGB, cute light bar, magnetic connection, rapid disassembly. This keyboard is just hitting all the right notes for a 65%. At this price, it is really one of the boards that are kind of unbeatable today. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you found some useful information on the Nut65, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.